So it is a shaky morning. Today is Friday and 7 a.m. live coffee talk. Today we're going to talk about grounding, and I have something that I'll go over in a few different ways that you can ground your energy. If you are finding yourself overly excited, this is a good one. It'll be put up on the channel so you can come back and watch later. But grounding is a concept of basically releasing excess energy in your body. So if you find that, and they sell grounding sheets now, you can look into this. It's basically the concept that your electrically charged body, which is factual, has to have a period of grounding at some point. A lot of times people don't realize in our modern world how we used to live was so very effective at keeping ourselves healthy, whether it was the food we ate or how we lived, and we didn't have the science to back it up either. It just was the way people lived, but it was so much healthier. Now, of course, we have the science to back up that the foods we eat and the things we do can cause more stress or harm to our body. So grounding is something that's just now making its way around like the naturally minded folks, but it's been practiced for centuries. It's nothing new. But grounding is something that you can apply daily and should. Some people will go outside, and much like grounding the electricity that comes into your home with a grounding wire, the electricity from your body, if you go outside barefooted and you have some good soil around you or grass or somewhere you can go outside barefooted, the electricity from your body the excess can escape into the ground. But there's other ways to ground. There's grounding sheets. You can use essential oils. It's basically a calming of that excess energy in your body. Other people can be a conductor. That's why touch is so important to someone who's very upset. When they are touched, they calm down because the excess energy actually leaves their body and goes into someone else's. So if you have someone who, for instance, is having a heart attack, you can actually, there's a practice that you can do to help release that excess energy and let it escape their body through touch and circle around through yours. So these concepts have been practiced for centuries. I'm going to talk about a couple of different things that may contribute to excess energy and a couple of different ways in which you can ground yourself. So excess energy often comes through stress. That's probably the number one way. Another way is the things we have like stimulants, coffee, monster drinks, things like that, excessive worry, those kind of things. And grounding is just like that practice that's going to help calm your body. It's going to help take out any excess energy or calm the excess energy, and so you can focus and think clear. When your body is all worked up, and it could be an emotional issue. Good morning, Christian soldier. Just came back in from feeding the chickens and the cows and getting ready. Oh, that is so sweet. Bottle feeding the calf. When you're outside, I know when I had my farm, we would be outside and my kids ran barefooted all the time. And my thought process behind it was your body absorbs about 75-80% of whatever you put in contact with your skin, which is what led me to like natural skincare and doing things the more natural way. But if you are outside and you are doing farm chores, or if you're just walking your dog, if you will go outside barefooted, that is one very good way to stay grounded. And a lot of people assume it's like connecting with nature and it's a calming thing, but no, your excess energy actually will escape into the ground when you're barefooted. And, it is a proven fact that people who are outside and in nature more often have a lower stress level. And that's a fact. People that are outside of the hustle and bustle of the city and surrounded by nature have a much lower stress level. And, I haven't seen a study, but I would bet that they have a lower heart attack rate. I would put money on that one. I don't know. I haven't seen any studies on that, but I would assume that they have a lower heart attack rate. Okay, sorry, low battery. So anyway, excessive energy comes through the foods we eat, the stimulants that we intake, coffee, whatever. It also comes from our environments. When someone is in a stressful environment, that could be work, that could be family, it could be a short-term experience, such as, finances, things like that. Their body is naturally going to produce more energy out of the stress. And it's an involuntary action. It's just going to happen. When you are around someone that makes you uncomfortable or who has done something to you to affect you emotionally, you're going to have more energy. And that's why people, when they're around certain situations, will begin to shake. So that excess energy has to be released somehow instead of and it will build up in your body. That's why they say people who are victims of trauma, it can be emotional abuse, it can be a poor family situation, it can be, whatever, actually have, and women are the number one, women are higher in depression than anybody else because they are emotional beings. But when you carry all that excess energy around, it will settle in certain physical places in your body. And now, modern science combined with the more holistic forms of healing, such as Ayurvedic medicine, acupuncture, things like that, now they are starting to realize that this is a fact. So when you have this excess energy, if you don't get rid of it, it settles in these places in your body. Major places are the neck, the shoulders, and everybody knows that when they're stressed, they like to rub the back of their neck. That's where excess energy will settle. For women, a lot of the times it is in their womb area, their hips, the uterus. That's one place that'll absorb excess energy. Yeah, and of course your head. A lot of people will get migraines due to stress, things like that. Homemade mint tea in the morning for me. Good for you. Mine's coffee. Definitely coffee. So to help remove some of this excess energy and to help you with, it's not going to take your stress away. Sometimes you have to remove whatever the stressor is. Sometimes you have to ride out the storm and you have to let it kind of play out. It may be a situation where you can't just remove certain situations, people, a job, whatever. But if you will have a grounding practice each day, especially before you go to bed, you will get much better sleep. Restlessness is just excess energy. That's all it is. So you will get much, and some people have to take medication. Nothing I say on this channel or in my videos is meant to be taken in place of the recommended medical doctors, a licensed physician and whatever they say. So, I mean, some people have so much excess energy that they do need medication. Some people may have to take something like an opioid or a benzo or something to calm it down. But if you can actually start putting into practice things around you to ground you and to help you remove that excess energy from your body without medication, if you'll do it daily. So like, I'm sorry, my table's rocking. So like, for instance, let's just say before you go to bed, you can run pure essential oils in the home. You can, and I started making this Pure and Grounded, and it has that full moon on there because it's an example of high energy. So we just had a full moon and I thought, okay, so I've got a sale right now, 50% off, but all of these are grounding oils. They are all calming oils, such as vetiver, anise, cedarwood. Cedarwood is a big calmer. I mentioned it yesterday in my video for allergies. Ylang ylang. Ylang ylang is such a calmer. You can rub it right on your chest if you're having heart palpitations and it will stop. You will feel them almost instantly just calm. And some of our energy and our stress can be gotten out by writing, journaling. The grounding sheets. A lot of people are saying that when they've bought these grounding sheets and they sleep with them, that they're doing much better. Their sleep is so much deeper, pure. They don't have that restlessness. They don't wake up several times at night. And magnesium. Magnesium is a mineral that your body needs, and it helps to keep you grounded. But anything that you can apply to your evening routine, before or whenever you go to bed. Some people work night shifts and go to bed in the morning, but before you sleep, so that you get a much better sleep, or when you have an incident of stress, to help ground you. Like I said, touch is a huge one because you can release excess energy into someone else, whether you know it or not. But that they say that there's like a magic behind touch. Well, it's not really magic, it's just factual. When you are touching someone else, whoever has the most excess of energy, it will transfer to the other one. Yeah, so it's not just it's not magic, it's factual. So your energy can be transferred or calmed, released, whatever. But yeah, oftentimes it's something as simple as diffusing some essential oils or rubbing them on. Anytime you're dealing with touch, it's going to be stronger than, say, the olfactory system. Anytime you're dealing with touch. So that's why they say it's really good to put your feet in the earth, in sand. It will absorb that excess energy. The grounding sheets, put essential oils on those acupressure points, things like that. Another place we can pick up excess energy is through something as simple as jewelry. In fact, they used to use acupuncture needles that would either add energy or take away. So like gold is one that energizes. You'll see a lot of stars and people in the music industry wearing gold jewelry because it energizes. It actually adds extra energy to your body when it's on your skin. Silver calms. It's a grounder. It decreases energy. But used to, they would do acupuncture with needles made of either gold or silver, depending on what they wanted to do. If they wanted to add energy to a specific system or calm it down. Stainless steel is neutral. If you're wearing stainless steel jewelry, it's not going to add to or take away. Your wife works nights and sometimes has to chew gummies to combat insomnia. Yeah. That cannabinoid system that our body has, it's okay. So a lot of people are not familiar with how that works. So cannabis has two different parts. You've got marijuana, you've got hemp. Well, God gave you a cannabinoid system, and when I started to research this, I found it very interesting that also breast milk was one of the best ways in which to get the cannabinoid system into a child without, and I'm not talking about smoking weed, I'm talking about CBD, I'm talking about hemp, I'm talking about the one with THC, into children that were overly stressed. And colic is a good form of excess energy. So to calm a baby, stuff like that, instead of, you don't want to give a baby anything like that, but it transfers through breast milk. So CBD is definitely a good calmer and helps to relieve excess energy. Lots of ways to ground. Music, when it's resonating, and if y'all have listened to any modern, like lately, they'll talk about if this message resonates with you or if this song resonates with you, just like a tuning fork, there's certain vibes that your body will put off and music will put off. And if you are operating on the same frequency, basically, if it resonates with you, it will help to stimulate. It will help to stimulate or calm, depending on what it is. Music is one of the best ways in which you can ground yourself or pep yourself up. We know from listening to music, some music makes us get all happy and giddy and makes us have a feeling, and then some calms us down. But music is a real good way to ground. Music, when it sends off its vibes, its frequency, your body is 60 to 75% water. So it's electrically charged, and we all know water is a conductor of electricity, and it's 60 to 75% water. So whenever sound waves are put out there, your body has no choice but to react. It's not, again, we have some systems like the emotional, the limbic system, that we have no control over. There's just going to be a reaction. Now we learn to control ourselves. We learn to control our emotions. We learn to practice things that will help us calm, like pray, read our Bible, journal, use essential oils, that kind of thing. But those initial reactions are involuntary and outside of ourselves. So yeah, it's kind of cool. There's lots of ways in which we can ground our energy. But gummies, yeah, I know a lot of people take gummies, and it's, a better alternative than a prescription, and probably, you know, not as harmful, because modern medicine does have side effects, and that's just the truth of it. Over the counter medications have side effects. So I'm not saying don't take them or ever take my advice over a licensed physician, but you can practice these things naturally in your life every day that may help curb the need for or how much you have to use of the over the counter or the medication from a doctor. Let's see. So anyway, I'm gonna get back to my pure and grounded. So good example of extra energy, subtle energy that exists. You know there's energy out there. For instance, when the wind blows, you can finally see it when it hits something, but it's there, whether you see it or not, whether you believe it in or not. So when the moon is full, there's a lot of excess energy, and it's pulling up and out. So it's pulling away. That's why the tide is higher during a full moon. So there's excess energy. And sometimes people are affected by these things and they don't realize it. So you add something as simple as a full moon. Ask an ER nurse, ask a doctor, ask a first responder if it's not crazier during a full moon. And that is why, because there is excess energy in our atmosphere. And God put it there. It's not something that, we have control over. Another one is all of the Wi-Fi signals, the cell phone towers. Depending on where you live, people in the city tend to be around a lot more of these subtle energies that are man-made, and it's not really good for your body. It's not really good for your stress level. So it probably needs to be put out there. You know how they tell you need 8 hours of sleep a day, you need to eat certain foods, you need to do this, you need to do that. Really and truly, grounding practices should be put into place as part of health and well-being. People should look more into grounding practices to help release that excess energy, especially for children, because excess energy in children shows up as ADHD, and we assume that these children are bad and they just can't calm down, pay attention, and that's really an uneducated or unintelligent way of looking at it. There could be several factors, but grounding for children, especially who are excess, that my daughter Daisy, she be doing too much. She does. She has a lot of excess energy. She has, she's easily anxious. So we talk about, I don't present it to her as grounding practices because it seems hokey pokey, but we talk about ways to release excess energy naturally. So ylang ylang, I think I mentioned that one. Patchouli and vetiver are very, very woodsy and very, very calming. And I find it funny because those woodsy, those nature smells, things like that, those are very grounding for your body. And again, you can rub them on your wrist, you can put them in a diffuser, you can put them on the bottoms of your feet. Oddly enough, that's one of the best places to put your essential oils. So if you don't have grounding sheets or access to go outside before you go to bed and walk around and just kind of, calm yourself, it does more than just what you see or what you feel. It actually, the earth will absorb the excess energy from your body, just like touch from a person will release excess energy and pass through. It's kind of cool because we can't see it. We don't always think about it. Frankincense, that's another one. Fir, yeah. Lemon, lavender, all of your calming oils are in this right here, is in the pure and grounded. And you can put it, on your hand, you can sniff it, you can rub it right up under your nose, it doesn't burn, you can put it on your chest, the thin-skinned areas like your wrist. If you have a child that's going to school, and they're in school 8 hours a day, it was very hard, I think, for my children to transition into public school and sit in a desk for 8 hours when they were able to get up and release their energy being homeschooled. So when you have a child that's sitting there and they're in a desk for 8 hours, they're going to have excess energy. So anything you can do, give them to help release that energy while they're in school so they're not up here, and help focus and give better clarity of mind, you should do that. You can I think I did a video a few years back and I had some ideas. They actually have necklaces that they sell where you can put essential oils on the necklaces so the child can carry them with them throughout the day. They have bracelets. You can put it on tissue in their backpack. But ways for people to release the excess energy that builds up. It could be a test that they have to take and they're overly stressed. The good thing about essential oils working on the limbic system is that they usually are multifaceted. So when you release that excess energy, they also work to help clear up the mind. They also help to focus, much like your herbs that you ingest, but they can work on your systems externally. Does anybody have any questions? Well, diffusing essential oils, putting them on your skin, meditation, journaling. A lot of people read their Bible. I read my Bible for grounding. Yeah, definitely. Because your excess energy, it's almost like you're talking to a therapist, but you're talking straight to God. So Bible reading, that's an excellent one. A lot of books are out there now, like shadow work. Man, oh man. We live in a very awesome time in history. We have access to so much due to technology. We have access to things that people didn't have 50 years ago, 100 years ago. So not only do we have things like modern medicine that's life-saving, the science behind, but we also have access to books that we probably would have never been able to get, and to understand things better and in a larger scope, being able to go to school online, or, we have it so much better now, and we really should be thankful. But books are a good way to ground. Music is a good way to ground. Playing instruments, grounding sheets. I know I've already mentioned that several times. I've heard so much about that I want to get some. But there's a lot of ways to release your excess energy, whether it's due to the moon, whether it's due to stress, whether it's due to finances, whatever it is. But there's lots of ways in which you should try to do it once a day, and the best time to do it is before bed. So 50% off on my website. The code is MOON50. So if anyone's interested, also read Leviticus 11 for dietary guidelines. God knows what's best for us. I don't stick exactly to it, but yes, I pretty much do. I don't really eat pork because of not the trichinosis, not the heat, none of that, but due to the science behind what I've read, and the enzymes in the food. It doesn't matter what temperature you cook it at. It doesn't matter. You can freeze it the trichinosis is killed after 21 days in a freezer anyway. So most of your meats out there do not contain parasites, like we're told. But it's that the meat isn't good. And occasionally I'll eat seafood, but I don't live by the law, but it is absolutely correct. Yes, God's original plan for how we should eat and how we should live is best. Unfortunately, it depends on where you live, depends on, your situation, there exceptions have to be made. That's where grace comes in. But yeah, definitely. If you can avoid that stuff, you're going to live a much healthier life. Not only is it fully saturated fat, but the enzymes in those foods, because they're scavengers. That's really what it boils down to. These are garbage eaters that God said don't eat, whether it's your shellfish or your shrimp or pork. All of those are scavengers. They eat dead things and they clean up. They're basically, they're the vacuums. They clean up the mess, and they have to have certain things in their body so that they don't die when they're eating dead things or cleaning up the mess. And it's those things in there that are harmful to us, our body. Get the Maker's Diet. Anybody who's interested or who isn't familiar on why God said do and don't eat these things, it's all in the Maker's Diet. And he eats soil for a period of time to reset his body, and to his microbiome. He had to repair his microbiome, and he found a way to do it. And I think it's Reuben, can't remember his last name. Reuben Jeremiah, maybe. Jewish by blood, Christian by faith. Yeah, The Maker's Diet. Check that book out. Beef is okay. Beef is also beginning to be injected with it too. I'll be honest with you. I eat mainly fish. And it's not really like a biblical thing, it's a health thing. It's just that they're so much healthier. Wild caught salmon, tilapia, mahi. I eat a lot of fish. Yellowfin tuna. I don't eat it, and that's just my personal preference. I don't think anybody has to stick to my guidelines. But, the processed meats out there, I went to Applebee's the other day and they actually had the plant burger on the menu. And I was like, man, how many people are eating that stuff thinking that they're eating healthy? We could do a whole freaking video on what's in that plant burger. Diatomaceous earth is good. Yeah. Well, really, any of your clays they will help to ground you. They will also help to pull out your toxins, your heavy metals. Bentonite clays, number one. That one's been around for a while, but those are also grounding, and they're they're highly charged electrically, and they take the heavy metals from your system and bind them and then flush them out. So, and diatomaceous earth, I believe, is the same on that. So anyway, we've been on for almost 30 minutes. Does anybody have any questions? Because if not, I'm gonna check out. But I did want to let y'all know about the different ways of grounding, whether you use music, your Bible, essential oils, sheets, get in touch with nature. Releasing the excess energy will help you sleep better. It will help you deal with stress better. It will help you keep focused, keep your mind clear. It helps with things like depression. It helps with, a lot of people get up in their emotions. It's an emotion. To ground yourself helps to regulate your emotions. We should do a video on, well, never mind. I get way off topic. All right, so I'm going to get off here. If you're interested in anything that I have on my website, it's 50% off Moon 50. And that'll be up all weekend, and it'll be up through the weekend, through the 1st. It'll go off, so it'll be up for a week. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Had a few more viewers this time. And I hope y'all have a blessed weekend.